Hello, Space Cadets, and welcome back to another episode of the Farm Chores podcast, the podcast where you get to come along with me while I do my chores, and we talk about things related to farming and market gardening and chickens and ducks and goats and all kinds of fun backyard hobby farm stuff. Usually we start the episode with a little bit of announcements, what's new with the farm, and then we go into our show topic. So let's start with our first big update. As of yesterday, the farm gained 2 employees. Their names are Lexi and Lemmy. Lexi and Lemmy come to me from a rescue out of Pennsylvania. They are domestic short hair cats, and they are here to help take care of my mouse problem. So I'm very happy to have them. They're adorable. If you want to see them, you can go over to my Instagram. It's at Moon Farm Organics on Instagram, and I posted a picture of them. Or if you go to my YouTube channel, which you can find linked on my website. If you go to moonfarm.us and then click link web in the top, you can click a link right to my YouTube channel, or there's a little icon on the top right. And there you can see Lexi and Lemmy. You can't see much of them because they are still settling in, and so they're hiding out in their little enclosures. But they're super cute. I'm really, really excited to have them. And Murphy better step up his livestock guarding, because if he doesn't, he may lose his spot here as employee of the month to one of these two. Super excited to have them. The other big farm announcement, things that's happened in this week, is we have officially set a day to launch our CSA. The first delivery will go out to my Ravenna, Ohio customers February 7th. That is way too soon for my brain to comprehend. It's got a couple weeks for me to get enough people to make it viable, to figure everything out, and basically make it happen. I'm a little nervous, admittedly. I am a little nervous about it. But I think we should be fine. I've got a wait list, and I think I'm only going to open it to 10 people to start, just so I can make sure I have everything ironed out before I bring everybody on all at once. And then once those 10 people are on, next I will accept, 5 or 10 more people, and I will select from like friends of my customers first. So, you get some benefits if you know somebody. Eventually I want this to be kind of open, and anyone who wants to can be on it. And my goal would be to have 100 people receiving fresh produce every week by, let's just say by the end of the growing season. Like September, October. I'd love to have 100 people on it, and that'd be super cool. So if you're in the Ravenna, Ohio area, or you're near the farm, Diamond, any of those places, make sure you go over to my website, moonfarm.us/Ravenna, and you can get on the wait list, or you can actually sign up right now. When you sign up, you'll get charged for your first week, but then you won't be charged again until the second week's delivery has come around. So anyway, that's what's new on the farm. I just put up a TikTok here a minute ago. I picked up some Christmas trees that were on the side of the road because it's trash day, and gave them to my chickens, and they love it. The quail love it too. It reminds them of the brush they belong to, and they like to comb through it and play in it and whatnot. I got some fresh food. Got the fresh food to, I broke this bag. It's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. All right, I did buy the right one, good. Got some fresh feed because I'm almost out, especially of the quail feed. That's what I was real low on. So, for today's show topic, I want to talk a little bit about getting to know your farmer and the kinds of questions that you might ask to learn more about how they do things, and what you might find out by discussing these with them. What this looks like on a typical day, you go to the farmer's market on Saturday, right? And you go up to your favorite farmer's booth They've got all their vegetables or eggs or whatever. Hi, Murphy. You've got all those laid out on the table in front of you. And you're looking at them. They look great. What kind of questions do you ask them to learn more about this food and make sure it's the right food for you? The simplest answer to that is 2 questions. Where was this grown and how was this grown? Those 2 questions will answer just about any question you have about the food. So the first question, where was this grown? Or alternatively, did you grow this? That's a good question to ask because not all farmers markets, oh my goodness, Murphy is upset today. He is so pupset. Poor guy. Whew. Hopefully he's not too distracting in the background. That's part of the fun of this podcast, is being able to hear what's going on at the farm. So hopefully he's not too distracting. A lot of farmers markets that you go to, they don't necessarily require that farmers grow all the things that they're selling. There's one market that I go to that, frankly, there's more produce vendors at this market who go to a produce auction in Amish country. They buy a bunch of traditionally grown vegetables in a box and they drive it to the farmer's market. I don't necessarily think there's anything wrong with that inherently. I do think that a lot of them are purposely deceptive in the sense that they don't really make it clear that they didn't grow any of this. Got to open up a fresh bag of cracked corn here. I probably won't even use it today because I have food scraps for the chickens. But might as well. So for example, there's a farmer here. Well, I say farmer loosely. There's a vendor at the farmer's market who has tomatoes available starting the very first day of market, which is usually the end of May. That might be normal if you are in Texas or southern Ohio even. But around here, that's not. Farmers generally don't get tomatoes until at least mid-June, but usually closer to July. The other one that always gets me is sweet corn. Sweet corn in Ohio is not ready till fall. You might get lucky, have the perfect weather, and you might be able to grow some and harvest it at the end of August, but really, September, October, that's sweet corn season here. And yet some of these guys will show up with sweet corn that is in, mid-July. How exactly is that possible? Well, it's because it's not grown anywhere near here. It's grown somewhere south of here. Heck, Tennessee, North Carolina, South Carolina. Places that the growing season started a lot earlier. The issue is that, people go to the farmer's market specifically so that they can buy local stuff. They want to get to know the farmer who grew their food. And so they just kind of assume when you make it to the farmer's market that kind old gentleman is the guy who grew the food. And a lot of times it's really impossible to tell. Some of them will lie to you. I've had them lie to me. One way you can easily tell, and maybe I shouldn't share all the secrets of the trade, look at what the produce is coming out of. If they're taking cucumbers out of a box that is labeled cucumbers, there's a pretty good chance that they just bought that box. Because if they're just reusing boxes, there's a good chance it probably will not match. That's one pretty easy way. Especially if all of their boxes match. If only one or two do, But if all of them match the stuff that's coming out of them, it's pretty obviously they picked that up at an auction. So the first question, who grew this? And you might even ask, where was it grown? I grew something, but maybe I have multiple farm locations. Maybe I have a greenhouse, and maybe you need to know that. You might then also ask them, how was this grown? This is one of my favorite questions because I grow aquaponically. Everything is very special to me in that sense. I put up a whole splash page on my website. It's called goaquaponic.com. If you go there, you'll find basically my list of reasons why my farm chooses to grow aquaponically as opposed to other methods like specifically hydroponic. And what makes it a little bit different? What kind of benefits do they share? Those kind of things. If there's one thing that I would love to tell people about, I'd love to tell them how their food is grown. Obviously, I am pretty interested in what I do. I love farming. I like aquaponics, and I love telling people about it. And so I'm really happy when someone says, hey, how was this grown? What do you do? How does it get its nutrients? Let's talk about aquaponics, one of my favorite things in the world. Oh, hello, Murphy. Hello. Why are you so upset today? You did not get enough attention. Oh, I'm sorry about that. Here I am to give you attention if you would just not jump on me. Thank you. Stay down. Sit. Sit down. Yes, hello. You are just too big for your own good. Oh my goodness, Murphy. Sit down. Thank you. There you go. All right, I'll give you some pets while I keep talking. But you got to behave and you got to be quiet because now you're close to the mic. So if you bark, people are going to say, ow, my ears. That's right. Good boy. Good boy. So I love talking about aquaponics, and I'm happy to tell anyone who wants to know exactly how I grow everything. I think it's a super cool system. It's super natural. It has lots of benefits that hydroponics has, but it still retains a lot of the all-natural kind of organic practices that you come to expect. Oh, whoops. Murphy knocked my mic off. My bad. Aquaponics, though, it maintains a lot of the organic practices that you've come to expect from local farms, even if they're not certified. A lot of people ask me, are you certified organic? Or put even simpler, are you organic? There's two ways I can answer that. The first one is yes, I'm organic. I only use things that are OMRI certified organic. I only use organic practices. I'm not spraying chemicals on my plants. But I do not have the certification. And that's really just because it doesn't make a lot of financial sense for a farm my size. There you go, chickens. Yeah, enjoy. Oh my goodness, look at all those eggs. I know I had one frozen duck egg today. Hopefully I didn't lose any others. It's a little warmer in the coop, so hopefully we'll get lucky there. So yeah, I do use organic practices. I don't use anything that could be considered harmful, but I'm not certified organic. And I will tell people that if they ask me, are you certified? However, in an effort to be as clear and concise as possible, I do tell everyone I am a no-spray farm. I don't spray chemicals on my plants. No till, no spray. Those terms mean something. A lot of farms don't necessarily care about those things. You know, they're organic, but they still spray whatever it is. And frankly, there's a lot of chemicals that are organic that I wouldn't necessarily want sprayed on my food anyway. So that's something to keep in mind. Even if they are organic, they may still be using some sprays you don't want in your food. So that's my encouragement, is that you talk to your farmers, you ask them where it was grown, ask them how it was grown. Ask all the questions that you need so that you know and you can justify why you're shopping here at this farmer's market. It frustrates me to no end when I see people selling produce at the farmer's market that is functionally no different than the food that you could go buy at your local Walmart. If you shipped in all of your produce from California, you don't grow a single darn thing, but you represent yourself that way and try to pretend like everything came from your farm, man, that's frustrating. If you're buying good produce, right, you're sourcing it from farms, that's totally fine. I want you to be able to do that. Work with other farms, be able to expand your product offerings, which keeps your customers happy. That's awesome. There's a difference, though, between offering products and connecting with other farms and connecting with other suppliers and being upfront about that. Oh, excuse me, quail. I'm collecting eggs in the quail coop right now, and I must have startled that one. Excuse me. Whoa! I'm sorry for startling you. I encourage people all the time to go tour farms. If there's a farm and you like their produce, ask them, hey, could I come look at your farm sometime? Hey, I'd like to take a tour. Would you show me how you grow things? A lot of them will say, heck yeah. A lot of them offer tours. I know that I offer classes throughout the year. Or this year I plan to offer a whole lot more. And that's one way that you could learn more about a farm. If you want to learn more about gardening or something like that, who better to ask than a farmer? Someone whose living depends on that. I'm thinking this summer I want to offer just a standard gardening class. Oh, Murphy's saw something. What is it, bub? What is it? Good boy. Yeah, I'm not seeing what he was barking at, but I'd rather him bark and there not be a threat than have there be a threat and have him not bark because he didn't know he was supposed to do that. Good boy! Oh my goodness. Muscovy. What are you doing? Oh my goodness. Oh, good. So, there's a Muscovy in with my ducks right now. I do have Muscovies. I keep 2 of them that I plan to expand the size of that flock in the spring. And there is now a Muscovy with my ducks right now, and it's not mine. What are you doing? So I sublet part of the farm to a friend of mine who wanted to get some experience learning about farming and starting to raise his own animals so that later when he starts his farm, he has more experience and knows what he's doing, right? So he has some Muscovy ducks, and this one particular duck, I guess she didn't have her wings clipped correctly or something, so she is fully able to fly. And she apparently has decided that she'd rather live up here and eat my food. Honey, what are you doing? She's the cutest thing. I hope she has lots of babies in the spring. She's a brown Muscovy, like a chocolate brown with white speckling. And here she is, just hanging out with my ducks. What, honey? You don't live here. She doesn't care. She likes it here. What a silly duck. Yeah, we need to get her wings clipped, though. Luckily, in this area, Muscovies don't really become feral. I know in places like Florida, Texas, and whatnot, the Muscovies, if they get loose and fly away, could potentially set up a colony and establish themselves because they can survive just fine in those climates. They can survive pretty well here in Ohio too, but we don't have a native population already, and I don't know, I think they'd have a much harder time just because of the winters. At the same time, though, I don't necessarily think that she's smart enough to know that it would be hard to survive on her own. And I would hate to see her disappear, so we're going to have to get her wings clipped here pretty soon. For those who don't know, clipping their wings is like cutting your fingernails. They can't feel it. It's just taking part of the feather away so they're unable to fly. They're still able to flap and, jump up in the air, but not like fly. Which, don't worry, that's totally normal. Chickens can't fly. Anyway, so I've shared with you a few things you should look out for at the farmer's market. And I've offered you some tips on what to ask and, whoa, it's icy. I nearly fell. What kind of questions do you ask your farmers? I know there isn't really a comment section, but I would be interested to hear what kind of things are important to people, because I'm always working to improve my own marketing. And one thing I'm big on is being really upfront and offering people information. So I have big signs encouraging people to ask me, where was this grown? How was it grown? I've got big signs letting people know I grow aquaponically. And I'd love to hear if there was something in particular that you're interested in knowing that I could potentially put up on my at my market stand. So pretty soon my CSA is going to be launched. I'm pretty excited about that, frankly. It's going to be a lot of fun. And that's the way I see my farm business generally going over the course of the next few years, is heading to a CSA-based model. That allows people to connect directly with the farm, cuts out the middleman, and allows me to offer good, fair prices on things while still being able to, be profitable. We're not sharing that profit with the wholesale distributor, so it allows small farms to exist, which, if you know me, I'm a big proponent of small local farms and eating food from your local ecosystem. I want to say that my CSA program is maybe a little bit different, a little bit special compared to other CSA programs. And here's why. My CSA is kind of a hybrid between your standard CSA and a subscription-based model, and also an online farmers market. So, okay, let's define a standard CSA. What you usually see from a farmer is you can buy part of a CSA. Let's just say you buy a share, and it's $400. You get a box of produce from the farm every week from May until September when the growing season ends, right? That would be kind of your standard CSA. And the prices differ, the size of the box differs, all kinds of things. But usually it's pay up front and get a box throughout the year. Those are great. The problem I've had is that the buy-in is really, really steep. And a lot of my customers are people on fixed incomes. People who, with the pandemic, they're trying to avoid going shopping as much as they can because they're older. Perhaps they have some kind of immunodeficiency, and they're trying to stay safe. So unfortunately, that model it doesn't work for those people because they are not able to come up with a large sum of money right up front. So I totally get that, and that's one reason why I have instead decided to do a subscription-based CSA. So rather than paying it all up front, my CSA is weekly. You can cancel it anytime. I hope you won't. I hope you'll find really good value in it, and so you'll keep getting it every week. Right now, my CSA has one size. It's $25. If somebody wants extra or more, they can get two, and I certainly would be happy to bring them two. So that's the CSA subscription hybrid. It works a whole lot better for my customers. It makes it easier for me from a budgetary standpoint because I have steady income each week and I'm not trying to budget one lump sum for an entire year. Then the online farmers market part is the part that, frankly, I'm more excited about than the CSA itself. My subscribers will have access to this online farmers market where they can go and get additional items to be delivered at the same normal time each week. So you've got your produce box coming, you go onto my marketplace and you think, this week I'd like to make a chicken. So you grab one of my pasture-raised chickens, and you think perhaps, I would like, let's just say a bag of popcorn that Alex makes, and you add that in. And then when your order shows up that week, that chicken and the popcorn will be with the rest of your order. That's really exciting because it allows me to offer things for sale that I don't necessarily have enough to supply everybody with. So, I may not have enough cherry tomatoes to give everybody some cherry tomatoes this week, but I've got 20 or 30 of them that I can put up on that marketplace, and people who want cherry tomatoes can go and order some. The other thing, and maybe even what I'm most excited about, is that this allows me to partner with other businesses and other farms. So if you go to the farmer's market, you're probably going to find somebody selling, let's say, coffee. Probably find somebody selling things like olive oil or bread, maybe baked goods of some kind, cookies, cakes, pies. You're going to find people with maple syrup, people with honey. I don't produce any of those things, at least not right now. We do hope to get bees in the spring, but we'll see. But I do know farms that are within a 10-mile radius of me that do produce these things. And so by partnering with them, they get the benefit of reaching more customers and having their products delivered directly to those customers. And then I get the benefit of being able to offer a wider selection to my customers. And that's super exciting. Ultimately, my goal would be that people would think, okay, before I go grocery shopping this week, let me hop on the farmer's market. Let me see what they have available this week, see what I can get. And then if I need a couple little other things, then I'll run to the store real quick. But my hope is that they won't have to. At some point, we'll have enough partners that we will be able to supply the produce needs of our customers. Additionally, being able to offer recipe suggestions or encouraging people to plan their menus based around what's available and what's in season. I think that's a pretty responsible thing to do and something that people should be encouraged to do. All in all, super, super excited. It's been a weird week. There have been a lot of kind of downer side to it. If you go check out my most recent YouTube video, I talk a lot about how there's some challenges I'm facing regarding the aquaponics system. Definitely go check that out. Link is on my website, top right corner, little YouTube icon, moonfarm.us. But there have also been a lot of really exciting things this week. Lexi and Lemmy are here. Starting planning for the CSA. We're ready to launch that. Things are running the way I think they should. It's a little chilly, but that's okay. We're trying to stay warm the best we can. And I'm excited about that. It is going to be a really, really fun season. I'm super excited for it. So I'm excited that you're here, and thank you so much for taking the time to listen to this podcast. I really appreciate everybody being here, and thanks so much for supporting the small farm. And I look forward to seeing you on the next episode of the Farm Chores Podcast.